Greetings, my fellow normies. I hope you're all doing well today. This is about an article I ran across called Meet Your Chinese Facebook Censors. The reason I'm saying this is I left Facebook almost a year ago. I only have a Facebook so I can keep up with friends, but I don't participate in anything. I have in the past been um, locked out and banned for 30 days for an opinion that somebody or some snowflake didn't like and all that. Um, I personally think that Facebook, to Google, to many of the other big tech are stifling free speech. And yes, I know they are a private corporation which operate under the same protected First Amendment. So I'm going to read an article about what this is all about. China is the most censored societies on earth. That is a fact. We all know that, with a great firewall. So what better place for Facebook to recruit social media censors? Also, remember Facebook and some of these other big tech companies, they have loopholes that they are able to hire foreigners over Americans for jobs. And as such, that's foreign interference. These people have no concept of what speech is and what protected speech is. There are at least half a dozen Chinese nationals who are working on censorship, a former Facebook insider told me last week. So at some point, Facebook bosses, thought, hey, we're going to get them H-1B visas so they can do this work. So they're going to do machine learning so they can have a machine coded so that they can decide on what is speech and what is not. But from my understanding, most of it's already still done by hand. A lot of it's not even done by machine learning at all. The insider shared an internal directory of the team that does much of this work. It's called Hate Speech Engineering, or well called Call Your Office, and most of its members are based at Facebook's offices in Seattle. Is anybody surprised? Seattle. Many have PhDs, and their work is extremely complex, involving machine learning, teaching computers how to learn, act without being explicitly programmed, as the techie website deepai.org puts it. When it comes to censorship on media, that means teaching the Facebook code so certain content ends up at the top of the news feed, a feat that earns the firm's software wizards discretionary bonuses, per the Insider. It also means making sure other content shows up dead last, which is not a surprise. And granted, it's their frickin' platform, but I think eventually Facebook and Twitter, they'll go the way of other former, and all that. People are leaving Facebook. People are leaving Twitter and stuff. Like, I participate on MeWe, LinkedIn, and Parler. LinkedIn has got more of a demographic of educated people where you have actually scholarly discussions with other people on a different level. Parler, you've got a mix of a lot of different type of people, a lot of different flavors and stuff like that. It's kind of like a Twitter, but you only get 1,000 characters and stuff and all that. Not too bad though. I like it. I actually understand it better than I understand Twitter. I think Twitter and Facebook are nothing more than fucking dumpster fires. So, and Facebook does not encourage. They go after competition and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So the people that own MeWe own LinkedIn. I think it's Oracle that owns LinkedIn and MeWe. I might be wrong on that. I'm not sure. Facebook engineers test hundreds of different iterations of the rankings to shape an optimal outcome and to root out what bosses call borderline content. It all makes for perhaps the most chilling, sophisticated censorship mechanism in human history. What they don't do is ban a specific pro-Trump hashtag, says the ex-insider. Instead, the content that is too conservative, they will downrank. You can tell it's censors. I won't share the names of the Facebook employees in question. The point isn't to spotlight individuals, but to show how foreign nationals from a state that still bans Facebook have their hands on the levers of social media censors here in America. Now, what's another thing too is that Mark Zuckerberg's wife is a Chinese national. I guess her parents came here when she was young and stuff. So, you know, he's been trying to get into China forever and stuff. So I guess he's going to try and, his censorship here, which is not a surprise. And stuff. There's other platforms out there, and I encourage everybody to do them. And just like there's Minds, there's other ones out there. Like I'm even thinking about building a social media as well. So there's an alternative. I own the domain Federalist Hub and stuff, and I want to base it on Constitution and First Amendments and all that. So, but yeah, another member of the team, a software engineer from machine learning based in Seattle, earned his bachelor's and master's degree in computer science in Jin University in Northeast China. Still another engineering manager earned his bachelor's in science in China. I'm sorry, but most Chinese I know stuff they don't learn shit. Either steal it or they memorize a lot of it. A lot of it coming out of China is just very questionable, period. Just like they steal everything. They haven't made anything they haven't stolen. Their R&D is a joke and stuff. I was in and worked for a defense company and stuff. And when I was working my bachelor's and my master's degree in political science and national security, the Chinese, until the Clinton administration, couldn't get a rocket into orbit. It kept falling. And so they tried to make a homegrown freaking aircraft carrier and it sunk. They created a homegrown submarine and stuff, and it sunk with all life on board during its testing and all that. Until certain people over in the United States has sold technology or China has stolen that technology to perfect their military industrial complex. I think, and I don't want to make this political, but I think we're going to get a flashpoint at some point between India and China, and the world will back India against China, including Russia, because Russia is tired of China stealing its intellectual property as much as the U.S. is. It's coming to a point, and things are just not that stable in China right now. So they're trying to buy influence, just like the current election. So another software engineer previously worked for the communist-backed conglomerate Huawei, as well as Beijing National Railway and Design Institute of Signal and Communication, and reached out to all 6 employees to reply to confirm they are Chinese nationals, but refused to comment further. Plenty of big tech firms, of course, recruit their foreign specialists from China, India, and elsewhere, and many of these workers hope to resettle in the United States permanently and share the American dream. Really? You want to share in the American dream while you want to stifle our free speech, that you want to have a piece of the pie of the American dream? Really? Isn't that kind of a contradictory? But some may not, and the trouble is that society, they might return to already deploys one of the most comprehensive, fine-tuned intellectual controlled mechanism on its population. What's to stop Facebook Chinese engineers from delivering their Facebook's expertise to Xi Jinping? Globalists thought that engaging with China would make the country more open. I fear it making us more restrictive. I agree. We are actually losing the war in that regard. China has been actually very smart in the way that they've been infiltrating the United States and other Western nations and stuff. And I think that the U.S. and other Western nations have become more oppressive due to influence of multiple different things when it comes to China. And we need to stop that. We need to stand up. It's up because it's wrong to be doing this. Facebook spokesman denied that these employees influence border policies. We are a strong company because our employees come from all over the world. Our standards and policies are public, including about our third-party fact-checking program and designed to apply equally to content across the political spectrum. With over 35,000 people working on safety and security issues at Facebook, the installation that these employees have an outsized influence on our broader policies of technology is absurd. Yet, Senator Mark Rubio put it in an email to me. These revelations are yet another indication big tech is no longer deserving of statutory protections that render it immune to publishers' liability. It's under the 203. They are protected under the Electronics Act 1984 of not being sued and all that. But I think that's going to change here soon, and which I think it should. I don't want to see government intervene, but I think that something needs to be done and stuff because they've just become way too much controlling society. They want you to think how they want you to think how they want you to think and stuff. They're basically, you know, the thought police in a lot of ways. They're training you to second guess yourself and all that. I'm sorry, but you know what? Don't give up your free speech. Never, never. This is all the more reason for the Senate to demand that Mark Zuckerberg, under oath and before the election, give an account of what Facebook has been up to. And I have to completely agree with that. And so it doesn't even matter, though, having him come before the Senate and go under oath, because the Senate and the House don't have any power to do anything. All the power rests with the Department of Justice to do anything. And until that happens, it's just a fucking joke, dude. So, you know. But let me know what you think down below. I'd really like your thoughts on it and stuff. I encourage political discord and disagreement and agreements as long as it's constructive, and constructive criticism is what I'm all about. All that. I'm going to put out a video too about the possibility of building a social media site, and I just want to kind of get some thoughts about it. All right, you take care all, and I will be talking to you later. Bye.